Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Hump. We're going to have our very special Jipang episode of the Game Hump this week. We are Wednesday. We are pumped. We are excited, and this week we have our very special guest, Saru Maru, on the show with us. Say hi, Saru Maru. He says, "Hey." Did you say hi, or did you not say anything?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
But hi. It actually choked a little bit for whatever reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it looks like it's a little bit glitchy right now. But usually when the people are viewing and the finished video, when it finishes processing on YouTube, all those little glitches and stuff seem to mostly go away. But,
Gotcha.
boy, I hope they do. Anyway, we're here to talk about some imports this week. We're here to talk about Japan, which our guest here, Saramaru, just came back from Japan, what, a month and a half ago?
Yeah, about almost 2 months now.
That's amazing. Yeah, you got to visit Japan. And why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself to some of the guys that are watching right now, and what kind of games you playing? What are you into?
Okay. So I go by Saramaru. I'm an internet artist. I'm involved in a bunch of different things. I'm working on a webcomic right now, actually, that has to do with PC Engine, which is kind of cool. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I love the PC Engine. It's my favorite console of all time. I've been collecting for it forever now. Here, I'll show you. That's my PC Engine shelf here. I've got something like maybe 200 games over the past 25 years, which is not so bad.
That's amazing.
But yeah, thank you. And I've got my PCFX,
Woo!
my little box up there.
That is awesome. Yeah, the PCFX. The PCFX is something that I'm actually about to get back into. For the longest time, I had been sort of very negative towards the PCFX. I had it at one time, almost 10 years ago now, and I was looking forward to it so much because I just couldn't wait to get my hands on it. And the website, PCEngineFX.com, used to have PCFX World, and it talked about everything that there was to do with the PCFX. It showed images of the mouse, images of the controllers, the system itself. I mean, Aaron Nanto and his photography are absolutely fantastic, and you can see all of that on his YouTube channel and on the PCEngineFX.com website. But he made that system look like something that was so important, and it needed to be owned by everyone. And Saramaru, are you still there? I think he froze. Crap. So I'm talking to myself now. All right. So anyway, the PC Engine FX, I had gotten into that, and I really was excited about it. And when I picked it up and I brought it home, there was a handful of games that were excellent for it. I had Chip Chan Kick. I had Zero Aguirre. I had there was a baseball game, Power League FX. There was Sparkling Feather. There was Last Imperial Prince. There was like a handful of these games that were really fun. And after about a month or two, it really started to kind of just collect dust. I mean, the games that I had for it either weren't interesting enough to me for me to keep it, or the type of games that I was expecting to see on it just weren't enough. The PC Engine FX, or I should say the PCFX system itself, was a very different experience than what the PC Engine was. Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, I don't know what happened there, but it dropped out.
I don't know either. You froze for a second or two, and then I was like, am I talking to myself? Or
I was trying to answer your questions, and then blurp.
That's cool. No, I was just talking about how I used to be a big fan of the PCFX. I shouldn't say I used to be a fan of it. I was like mesmerized by the idea of it, and when I wound up picking it up, I was kind of disappointed, and I didn't find a lot of the same types of games. I didn't find any fighting games, shoot 'em ups, action games that I was finding on the PC Engine. So I wound up getting rid of the PCFX about 6 months after I'd picked it up initially, about 10 years ago. And what happened recently was very interesting. I was bidding on one that was on eBay, and it got to $65, and the shipping I think was $40, so $105 total, and it was a boxed PCFX, no games, but it has a controller and all the hookups and everything. And when it hit 65, I was outbid because my bid was like 65 and they bid 65.50 or something like that. So I wound up saying to myself, like, okay, if I really want to get back into this, I should just pick it up and win it, or at least make an attempt to win it. Because I was kind of like teetering back and forth, like, do I want to spend $100 on a system I may never play, or do I really want to like get this so I can try like really seriously invest some time into it and see if I can get into it. So I wound up just putting my bid at $100, and it wound up going for $69.
Nice.
And so it's still on its way. It's like one of those like the snail mail kind where it's going to go over on a boat, so it's going to take like 2 months to get here. But yeah, I'm actually really excited to get that back. It was a box.
$69 is really cheap in my opinion for it, because I paid like $120 for this one, which is in great condition. And that's a pretty good price normally for them. It's usually around $100 boxed. But yeah, $70, man, you can't beat that.
No, I'm pretty stoked. So once I get it back, I'm sure I'm going to have some fun with it. I do a lot of like game conventions and stuff, local ones, and then some that are not so local, even though it's within the state. But there's like 3 or 4 a year that I bring a ton of systems to. And I'm really excited to be able to bring the PCFX just to make all these people go like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, they're like, what is it? Is that a computer tower? Because they made it look so much like a
I know. Tower. It had so many opportunities to do expansions for and all kinds of stuff. I mean, if the system had really taken off, who knows how amazing the things that we would have gotten would have been.
Right. See, if NEC had released the system when it had intended, when they were intending to release it, I think it would have done a lot better. But one of the issues was that Hudson didn't want the release of the PCFX to interfere with sales for the PC Engine, because at the time it was still doing really well.
Right.
So they were like, you know what, we're going to hold off on it because we're going to release this, and people are going to stop buying PC Engine. They're going to hop over to the PCFX.
Right.
But it ended up biting them in the ass because they released it so close to the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn's release. So they shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, it really stinks. I honestly, if they were worried about that, they should have worked on backwards compatibility. Because if that thing was able to play CDs and Super CDs and arcade cards, that'd be the system to have.
Bought it, right? Regardless of what was coming out around the corner, people would have still bought into the PCFX because now they have a backwards compatible machine that's going to play new stuff too. So it's a shame.
Oh well, if only we were in charge back then.
Right, be a much different story.
Right. So okay, importing games. Now what are some systems that are your favorite systems to import games for?
Other than the PC Engine?
Sure.
Probably the Sega Saturn. I think the Sega Saturn is like the one system that is kind of fits. It has the 16-bit feel to it still.
Yeah.
Like a lot of games are sprite based. So much of it is sprite based. I think it's just an excellent system. So I'd have to say the Saturn. Super Famicom, only because I've been collecting for the Super Famicom for quite some time, though not actively like I do with the PC Engine. I just pick up games that I like here and there.
Sure.
But I collect imports for pretty much everything.
That's awesome.
Every console, 3DO, PlayStation. What else I got over there? PlayStation, Saturn, PS2. Pretty much everything. Under the sun, Mega CD. So
there's like a gazillion things behind you back there. I mean, you can kind of look at that. I see Super Famicom, I see Saturn, I see Dreamcast,
Neo Geo CD.
Nice.
Let's see, Mega CD, a bunch of Japanese PlayStation stuff, some American Sega, some US released Sega CD stuff, not a whole lot.
Cool.
A few 3DOs.
I think that you have PlayStation and Sega CD or Mega CD. I've never imported games for the Mega CD or the PlayStation ever. I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't wind up jumping into those systems so early on where I felt like I needed to keep getting more for it. Sort of like what the Turbo was a necessity, and the Saturn, I believe, is also a necessity, because if you've only ever experienced the U.S. launches or U.S. titles in those libraries, you're probably pretty underwhelmed.
Right, exactly. And
I mean, there are great games,
100%.
but not nearly
but
as
just
many.
not enough. And the Saturn suffered that same thing. Saturn had very few titles compared to Japan. Japan had, I don't know, something like 800 titles or something,
Right?
compared to America's 100 and something. Same thing with the TurboGrafx. TurboGrafx only got, under a couple hundred games. Japan's got official games, like 720 games official, and a bunch of homebrew still. So
Yeah, it's really hard.
That, though. Saturn is essential import stuff.
Yeah, the PlayStation. What are some key games that were important to import on the PlayStation 1?
Ooh,
like Police Knots.
I mean, that was pretty much on everything.
Was it? Oh yeah, that's right. It was on Saturn too.
Yeah, because it was on Saturn. It was on 3DO. I think it came out first for the 3DO, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right. That's probably true. Yeah.
And then Saturn, and then PS1. That's a hard question to answer for me, because I play a lot of obscure games.
Okay.
So I'm very much into all-female fighting games.
Nice.
So yeah, PlayStation has like the Asuka games and Variable Geo, and that's just stuff that carried over on from the PC Engine.
Yep.
And I'm just huge fans of those series. So when I found out they were going to be on the PlayStation, I was like, well, I got to get a PlayStation.
Right.
So I can play some Asuka. But there was a lot of other good games, like Panzer Bandit. What's a really good action game. Trying to see what I've got here. I don't know. I've got a number of games. A lot of games I also prefer in Japanese, depending on the game. Like, I don't know if you played Mega Man 8 for the PS1.
A little bit. It's not something I really fell in love with. I was a little disappointed with it.
I mean, I liked the game. I'm a huge Mega Man, but the voice acting is abysmal for the PlayStation 1. So it's look, we've got somebody.
It's Gex. Gex has joined the chat.
It's Gex again. How you guys doing? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yep, loud and clear.
I like all that waifu material you got behind you.
Waifu material.
I'll let you talk. I just wanted to join in for later for the PC Engine talk.
Okay. Yeah. Only Anonymous or what? Gex has joined the chat.
Yeah. For some reason, my video is backwards.
Well, it'll show that way for you, but for us, it looks perfect.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, Patrick has joined the chat. We were actually just kind of chatting about what some systems besides the PC Engine were a lot of fun to import for. And Sarumaru was talking about the PlayStation. I noticed up towards the top there, and of course, now that I can see you, I'm looking behind you and looking at all the cool stuff you've got there. And there's Pepsi Man. How did the Twitch stream go tonight?
The stream went great. Yeah, I had a guest host on Retro Gaming Live TV, which is like aiming to be a 24-hour channel for retro gaming.
That's awesome.
So we had like 80+ people watching me play Pepsi Man, which was amazing. And then after me was the new world record holder for Super Mario Brothers, which I'm glad I didn't have to follow him because that dude's insane.
Wow. That is so cool.
Yeah, PlayStation is probably, other than PC Engine, PlayStation probably is a great import device. Famicom also is great because there's so many U.S. titles that are expensive that are really cheap for the Famicom.
Yes.
If you can deal with the language barrier.
Yeah, I'm brand new to the Famicom world. I just got a Famicom eight months ago, and then I got a twin Fami in September of last year. And some of the games that I'm just like in love with are like the Konami's YY World.
Oh, those are good.
Is amazing, and Rockman 5, because I've never had Mega Man 5 for the NES, so it was like I had 1 through 6 except for 5, and picking up Rockman 5 for the Famicom was like a dream, because it was like finally I get to play this game.
Do yourself a favor and order this Super 50 in 1 cart It's for the Famicom. It's on AliExpress, and it's about $8 shipped.
Nice.
It has every Rockman. It has Lickle. It has Samurai Pizza Cats. It has all the guidance. It has so many games that will start you off for your Famicom collection, and it's all the Japanese Famicom versions.
Nice. Does it have Mr. Gimmick?
No, it does not have Mr. Gimmick, unfortunately.
Well, forget it. No sale.
Nope.
No sale. Anyway,
Garbage.
Saru, I was looking behind. I see the Wonder Swan. You know, that's one thing that I have not talked about once on our little show here is the Wonder Swan. What is it that is so attractive to gamers and to importers to pick up for the Wonder Swan?
You know, I actually don't have a whole lot of good games for the Wonder Swan, so I guess I could talk more about it. I do like it though. It's a sweet little system. The only issue with the Wonder Swan that I see is that I wish it was backlit. Though a lot of people are modding these now and adding their own backlit, because this system is pretty freaking dark, man. Like, I don't know what kind of screen they used on it, but this is the color, and the colors, you need optimal light to play these.
I had a not color. I had the original Wonder Swan, and it was dark, and it was hard to see, so you needed really good lighting, like this kind of lighting, and you needed to really pay attention because the screen was constantly blurring.
Right. Yeah. So
I picked one up from Mad Gear a few years ago at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and it was like $30, and I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I want to try this out. And I got that and Ghouls and Ghosts, which Dayakamura. Yeah, you could say it. I can't. But it was a great game. I mean, it looked really nice when I could see it, but a blurriness and just the ability to actually see the screen because of how dark it looked really like killed it for me. I just lost interest real quick. It was another one that just collected dust, and I just, I'm good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy it off you, Josh.
I don't have it anymore, but I would love to. I mean, it's something that it's interesting because, like, on the PSP, if you've modded your PSP, you can download all sorts of emulators. And one thing I like to do with the PSP is emulate handheld games because the PSP screen is so wonderful. Like, it's
amazing. It's
so nice. And I emulate Neo Geo Pocket and Wonder Swan on it, and playing those games on it, it just looks perfect. So. I don't know if I'll ever get back into the Wonder Swan, but I've gotten back into the Neo Geo Pocket, and that's like the best handheld maybe ever for me. I still
haven't had a Neo Geo Pocket. I really want one eventually.
I think it's the control stick is amazing. It's so good. I mean, it controls so very, very nice. I'm a big fan of the Neo Geo CD.
Me too.
The controller. A lot of people aren't, but I really like it.
I haven't used one.
It's very nice. It's very, very, very good for fighting games, obviously, but it's also very intuitive because you can feel the control in your hands and you can also hear it. So if you are trying to do a quarter circle, half circle, you know, like all these moves, and it makes a certain clicking noise, you know you've pulled it off correctly. But if you do it and you don't hear that clicking how it should be, it gives you obviously the visual saying, well, your character didn't do the move, and you can also hear it through the clicks in the controller. It's awesome. I've spent so many hours playing with it, and it's the same thing for the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Is the loading time manageable?
On the CD or on the Neo Geo Pocket?
On the CD. Because I heard it's pretty bad.
It depends on the game. Like some games, it's pretty abysmal, and you kind of have to have a Neo Geo CDZ. Because the first Neo Geo CDs to come out, it's even worse. It's like a single-speed CD-ROM, and loading time is just it's bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. I have the original Neo Geo CD, and it's bad. Games like King of Fighters 96 are pretty close to being unplayable because it loads between every round.
Yep. Any King of Fighters.
It's like a minute to a minute and a half. Between rounds, between like a 10-second fight, it loads again. But the best thing about the Neo Geo CD is all of the like first-gen Neo Geo games. You think about Baseball Stars, Magician Lord, Art of Fighting 1 and 2, Fatal Fury Special. All those, like, or the original ones too, World Heroes, Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, whatever. I think even the first Samurai Showdown. Maybe not. But anyway, those games all on the Neo Geo CD, they have one load. It loads the entire game into the RAM of the Neo Geo CD, and then it never loads again. So it does take about 2.5 minutes to get through that initial load, but once it's done, you're good.
Yeah, a lot of games.
It loads the entire game.
Let me ask you guys this: do you guys have MVS setups?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I don't.
So
I have
was just
a
wondering,
one
is there
slot.
any reason to own it if I have MVS?
No.
And a multi-cart.
Yeah, I actually just Crossed Swords 2.
Yeah, which just got dumped to the MVS.
That's true. That is true.
Oh, and
I don't know.
Before we lose the topic, sorry I interrupted. I just got my Game Boy Light modded. You can't really tell.
Nice.
You can't see anything. Anyways, Tank Boy Customs on Instagram does the modding for pretty cheap. You might be able to do your Wonder Swan.
Awesome.
Tank Boy Customs?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll have to remember that. Say hi, kitty cat. Oh, there's Ben.
Oh, kitty.
She's rubbing my legs. So, you said you didn't want to interrupt the topic, but honestly, we haven't really hit a topic yet, other than just gushing
Well,
about
I thought we were going to
imports.
talk about his trip to Japan.
Hey, kayfabe. I mean, spoiler alert. That was, we were going to get into that in a little bit. We haven't gotten there yet, though.
I mean, never mind.
It's all good. So, hey, Sarumaru, I heard you've been to Japan, man.
Sorry.
That I have a couple times.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, this last year and in 2014.
Oh, that's amazing. So is this becoming a yearly thing for you?
Oh, I hope so. I had a lot of fun.
How long did you go this last time?
About 10 days. I usually only go for about 10 days because work doesn't allow me really to take a whole lot of time off.
Okay.
So, yeah, but
How much?
in that time.
How much would a person expect to spend? I mean, just to go and enjoy it, not necessarily going and bringing back all kinds of goodies.
Well, I guess it depends on what kind of spending you like to do. So I took spending money for games and things like that, but you can generally eat pretty cheap. You can get like ramen for like 400 yen, which is like not even $4, like
Yeah.
3 something. There's a lot of street food. A lot of people say that staying places is expensive, but I found I only spent maybe like $400 for like 8 of those nights, $450. Yeah, it was a small room, but it had bathroom and a shower, and that's all. That's really
You're not
important.
exactly staying in the hotel room any majority of the time during the day.
Right, so you'd go there to sleep. A couple nights we stayed in a internet cafe or the manga cafe.
Oh, awesome.
Thing. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was just something I wanted to do, not something I'd want to do a lot of, but it's good to stay late overnight because hotels there actually close at like 11, so it's a good option. Or if you're out and you get drunk and you can't get back, it's a good option to just rent a room for 4 or 5 hours and just take a nap.
That's awesome. So my wife has been to Japan. She went in 2008. I have never been there. We're planning on going in either 2018 or 2019. And that's just so we can go when our kids are a little bit older.
Yeah.
That's our main plan. We want to go for like something like you were saying about 10 weeks. Or sorry, 10 weeks, yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. 10 days to about 2 weeks to go. And we're talking about late 2018 or early 2019. My dream is to go in January to go see to go to the Tokyo Dome and see New Japan Pro Wrestling. They put on their biggest show of the year on January 4th of every year, and I want to see that like so bad.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm really stoked to see that.
But that's awesome.
Yeah, wrestling is whatever, but like that show they sell out the whole Tokyo Dome. It's like 85,000 people, and it's like
Wow,
I would
okay.
love to go see that. It's like a spectacle.
Nice.
Yeah, it sounds amazing, and that would be something. If we were going to go there, that'd be one day, and then like do something else another day. just to see everything as much as we could. Obviously, it's really hard to see everything, but
Yeah, it is. Like, I didn't get to see half of the stuff that I wanted to go do. I did spend a lot of time game hunting though when I was there, and I actually ran into Arkin. You guys know Arkin, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I ran into him in Akihabara
that's amazing.
randomly. You know, and I always randomly run into that guy. I ran into him in Los Angeles.
Really?
He was at Anime Expo, and he was going to the Ia Vocaloid concert thing, and he randomly walked up to me to ask me about it, and I was like, "Aren't you Arkin?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm Sarumaru," and he's like, "Oh, dude." And so we hung out, and we went to the concert, and had sushi, and then I ran into him in Japan. We were just in Akihabara, and I'm like, "The fuck?" Like Arkin. And he's like, "Yeah, what's up,
Oh my
dude?"
god.
And yeah, it was cool. It was
That's
very
awesome.
random.
I knew that you were there around the same time that Ark had been there. But
Yeah.
when I saw you guys, the pictures and stuff you were putting on Facebook, I saw you guys were together and stuff. I'm like, oh, they must have like organized that. But you guys actually just happened to run into each other.
Completely random. We just ran into
It's
him.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it was cool. And
amazing.
then he pointed me out to a really cool game store called Beep. That's in Akihabara. It was like an underground game store, and I ended up buying some PC Engine stuff, some Mega CD stuff,
Oh
and I
god.
spotted his Atlantean game. So I guess he was striking up a deal with the store owner because we were there, and I was telling the guy, I was like, what is that game? And he's like, oh yeah, I had this American guy came and he brought me this game. And I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of it, but I didn't post it until he just recently posted it on PCFX. He's like, oh, I got struck up a deal with these beat people, and I was like, I knew it. I knew this. And I posted a picture of it.
That's so funny. So is Atlantean, is that a game that you can play on PC Engine or TurboGrafx?
Yeah, it's I don't know what they put it on, but or Etherbite, which is I guess him and Sun Team Paul.
Yep.
And some other people. I don't know who composes the music, but I guess they 3D print a lot of it. Like they 3D printed the cases and.
Right. I had heard about that. Yeah. I think that Ark actually wound up doing all the music too. He uses his Squirrel engine that he made. I think. Like I could be wrong, but I know that he made the music for his earlier titles like Insanity and Pyramid Plunder.
Right.
Plunderer. No, that's awesome. That is so cool. Plunderer, the Pyramid Plunderer. Okay, so say I'm interested in going to Japan, which I am. What are some things that just off the top of your head, some real good ideas of things that I need to learn when I go down there? Other than, having my passport, other than having like a rail pass, other than having, things that are not necessarily obvious, but I already know and I already have them. So like, what are some common Japanese like terms that I should understand?
Well, restaurants and things like that, a lot of places actually don't use a lot of English, which is weird because for a country that strives to learn English, not a lot of people know English. So ordering food, I think, is important. Like, you got to know how to order your food in Japanese because those people, most of the time, food service, they don't speak any English. The good thing is that they have menus that have pictures so you can point, but usually, so say you want something and you don't know what it's called, but there's a picture of it, you could always point to it and just say onegai shimasu, which means please bring me that.
Okay.
Yeah, so just stuff like that. I'm trying to think of some other useful terms.
So like good morning is Ohayo gozaimasu.
Yep, ohayo gozaimasu, and then konnichiwa, konbanwa, oyasumi nasai. You probably won't use like any of that stuff though. Another thing is asking where stuff is. So you can be like whatever you're asking, doko desu ka? So like you want to say, I want to go to Akihabara. You would say Sumimasen, Akihabara wa doko desu ka? And you just add doko desu ka to whatever you're asking, and that's where. Where is this? You'll use that a lot because I got lost like every single time, like everywhere that I got lost. So it comes in handy.
Nice.
Really bad of direction.
That's awesome. So doko desu ka doko is where, right? And desu ka is where is it, or do you know where it is?
You're properly asking a question at that point. The ka part indicates that you're asking a question.
Awesome. Okay, so if I was looking for Hibiya Avenue, I would say Hibiya Dori wa doko desu ka?
Yep. Exactly like that.
Nice.
And I can't say anything.
We're gonna do the rest of this episode in Japanese. No, I'm kidding. No, I can say watashi wa nihongo ga skoshi wakarimasu.
I speak a little bit of Japanese.
Yeah.
You got the accent down. Accent's good.
Yeah, well, if you're listening to it, I listen to a lot of those tapes, so I listen to it a lot. So when I hear it, there's a few things that I'm not sure how to say it. What is it? I'm hungry is tobatitis. Stop it. The tobatitis? This is my cat again. Anyway, I could sit here and... I want a Japanese lesson.
I can say in Japanese I've learned from PC Engine games.
Like what?
Exactly. I can repeat like the opening scenes when they're playing. It's kind of more of a sing along or a talk along as opposed to me being able to say it right now.
Yep. You know what I've gotten used to in the menu system of PC Engine games is the yeses and nos. Like I think I've got that memorized. Whenever I see a yes or a no.
Oh yeah, and
it's whenever there's a third option, I'm like, oh, what does this mean?
Too many options.
And I've watched a lot. I watched a streamer that does a lot of PC 98 and 88 and a lot of Japanese content. And I've learned if you want to like brute force your way through a game, especially like PCFX games, go through every menu, every option, and then you'll eventually clear like a lot of like the dating sims and a lot of the other ones. You can get through it if you just brute force it.
Right.
Start picking random options.
No, you go to the first like there'll be like 4 menus. Pick the first one, go option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4, then go to the second 1, 2, 3, 4. He gets through them.
Makes sense.
Patrick, do you have a PC Engine or PCFX?
I've only borrowed Evan's, and every time I love it. Zingy effects on it is probably one of the best beat 'em ups I've ever played. If not, the thing that really blows away the PCFX and shows the capability of the system, other than the FMV, is when it has bits like sprites with background FMV going on. Like when there's like warp scenes and stuff like that. It just doesn't seem like my brain first time playing that. I was like, how are they able to do this? Like there's like layering of it. And the voice acting you can tell the voice acting is quality. You just don't understand it.
Right.
But yeah, I like the PCFX a lot. There really is only a handful of games you can, as somebody that doesn't speak Japanese, really enjoy, and that would be like the Bubble Bobble clone, the Chip Chan, Zaringer, or whatever it's called, the Shoot 'em Ups. Okay, and there was just a translation for that, but I don't really like 1943 style games. Zenki's amazing. What's that? Team Innocent, or is it called Team Innocent?
Team Innocent.
That's supposedly being translated, but I haven't heard an update in a few years. That's a game that I love the aesthetics, and I hope it does get translated. But I've actually considered playing through that game using a guide.
Yeah, I had Team Innocent at one time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it seems really neat. I'm not necessarily into a lot of those like survival horror type games, and I think some of the sprites like on the screen where you're like walking towards the screen and it just like goes boop 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 boop, like it keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's, I don't know, I love old adventure games and point and click games, so I'm sure that if I really like seriously put some time into it, I probably wind up liking it a lot. But
it doesn't help that it's in Japanese, I'm sure.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit hard.
There's one of those point and click adventures for the PC 98 that I just watched streamed recently called Signatory, SIGNATORY, and it's a point and click where you start off in the 50s, and then you find out somebody that is in your group, like your detective, is actually a time-traveling Nazi and sends you back in time, and you fight Hitler, and then you fight aliens. It's seriously like the sickest point and click I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's a game that nobody's ever seen.
What's it called?
Signatory.
Signatory.
Yeah, if you can find it to download and just get a PC98 emulator. I'm gonna actually work my way through it here pretty soon. I already said too much.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, but that's a game that's like a style game that would be on the PCFX, or I would expect to be on it. I plan to get a PCFX. I just haven't. I've been so busy with everything else.
Yeah, I have one on the way, so I'm actually really stoked.
Sweet. Is it boxed or?
It is.
Ooh.
Tell me how much you pay for it.
$69 boxed.
Yeah, those things are cheap, man.
When you can find them, I've been pretty patient, and I don't know. I don't think I'm like a hawk watching on eBay all the time, but I saw this one, and it was like 40 something, and there was like 3 days left, and I'm like, well, I'll bid up to 65 or no, yeah, it was $65, and someone outbid me. For whatever reason, they went to 66 or something, just over 65, maybe 65.01. Who knows? I mean, I'm guilty of doing that once in a while too. Yeah, I just decided I'm going to win it, and I wanted it, and so I put 100 on it, and it went to 69. I'm like, all right.
Very cool.
Very surprised to see that, and I was like, okay, sure. But yeah, it's got the box. It's not in perfect condition. I think there's some yellowing going on, but as long as the system works, I don't care. It's
Right,
gonna be
yeah.
awesome.
You didn't happen to get that from Yamatoku or whatever that place is called?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Well,
They usually sell consoles for pretty cheap, so I was just wondering.
I can tell you in a second. Hold on one moment. I don't think it was them, though.
Signatory is actually for the Sharp 68,000, X68000, not the PC Menu.
Oh, you.
Another amazing gaming console that a local to me has, and I'm able to play.
I love one, but it seems like it would be too expensive to get into it all. You know, like the console itself seems like you need multiple things to get it to play. Games are starting to get expensive for it too.
Well, you can. Yeah, I wouldn't get into it now if you're going to want to collect actual games. The person I'm speaking of has a compact flash adapter, and they have all the games on there, and
Sweet.
it's really nice. And there actually is a new SCSI to SD card adapter. So instead of in the disk drive, you just install an SD card, and then you're pretty much good to go. But yeah, the system's expensive, and I don't know too much knowledge about the hardware, but I know you want one of the later Sharp models. I'm sure Evan can chime in here in a second, or the mini one as well.
They look nice.
All right, I wound up getting that PCFX from Nippotopia, NIPPOTOPIA/com or -com.
Why does it sound inappropriate?
I know, right? That's why I was like, I gotta say this without sounding like Nippletopia.
Nippotopia.
Nippletopia. Yeah, it's awesome.
The Pone.
Is there an N there?
There isn't. It's Nippo.
I'm kidding.
Nippo.
It is NIPPOTOPIA. Nippotopia. If it was Nippontopia, then that would be like okay.
Yeah.
And then I found from Namazu, who I've ordered from a couple of times before, just a PC. I was just getting a disc to try out, and I wound up finding Blue Breaker for $9 shipped.
Oh, nice.
I've heard that's a pretty good one. I've seen some of the screenshots. It looks fun, but I don't know. It's basically just for testing purposes, and then if it's awesome, then I'm in luck.
More, yeah. I only have a handful of games for PCFX actually. I don't have a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm planning on like those games that were translated. I know that's ridiculous to even think about it, but Pike Pirate was one, and so was Zero Agar. So I'll probably wind up making those discs to play on those system on the PCFX rather than actually picking it up. But who knows? Maybe I'll just pick up the the actual discs for Pike Carrot, and then I can just have the translated disc with it or whatever.
I've been saying Pia Carrot this whole time.
It is Pia Carrot.
Is it Pia or is it Pie?
Pia Carrot.
Pia? Oh.
Or,
well, there you go.
If you guys, if anybody wants to buy a PCFX, Sirgura.ya.jp, they have really good prices on a lot of PC Engine and PCFX games. You can buy complete in-box games for about 400 yen.
Yeah, you know what? I actually forgot about Suguruya. I think it's what it's called. I forgot about that place. They do have.
You got here in Japan if you get used to a proxy, but that's a little bit harder. You have to put the money into the proxy and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. But a lot of good deals to be had.
Oh, totally.
So, Saru, when you went to Japan, you said you wound up spending some money on some gaming goodies and stuff.
I did.
Did you fly back with it, or did you ship them back to you?
I flew back with it. So I specifically took luggage just for stuff. And I ended up filling it with a bunch of games. Because you can get games over there for really cheap. Like, I got tons of titles for really cheap. Like, this was 200 yen. I haven't even opened it yet. I don't even know what it is. It's some sort of, like, RPG, but I mean, some sort of adventure game. But 200 yen, I was like, screw it. It's cheap. I got Prince of Tennis for $1. Get Backers for $1. And actually less than $1 with the conversion. Like, Book Off, so many games for so cheap. And sometimes you find good games for really cheap.
You said you went to a Book Off?
Yeah.
Did you check out, by chance, a Hard Off?
I did last year. I didn't get to go to any Hard Offs this year, because last year I was in the Tohoku region of Japan, in the north side, far, far north, and they had a lot more Hard Offs, and they were easier to get to than the ones that were closer to Tokyo this year. So I only got to do Book Off. But Hard Off is great, too, because you can find, like, Sega Saturn consoles for, like, $30.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Core graphics units for $50. Like, just cheap stuff.
So you've actually stepped foot inside of one. So describe what it is like going inside of the Hard Off. Like,
so Hard Off, the name Hard Off is because it deals with hardware mostly. So when you go to the game section, you basically just have like lines of consoles, and a lot of it surprisingly boxed. There's a lot of boxed consoles. But if you don't care about box and just want the console, you can get loose consoles for really cheap. And they have a lot of them. I didn't pick up any consoles, sadly. The only thing I picked up was a GameCube, because I found one of those like pumpkin orange ones for like $12. Awesome. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna grab it. Can't beat it.
That's awesome.
Isn't everything individually sealed and in really nice condition?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is in good condition. If it's not in good condition, they actually have a section where they consider junk, where they have stuff for 50 yen and 100 yen. And it's funny because I found Valkyrie, the Valkyrie no Densetsu, I don't know what it's called, the Adventure of Valkyrie.
Oh, the PC Engine game?
Yeah, I got that for like 300 yen in the junk section. And that game usually goes for like $15, $20 on eBay, I think.
Yep.
So I picked it up because I think I have it here. That was the year prior. And if you look at the condition, it's actually not really bad. It's complete. The hue card's in there. It's got the little foamy.
Yeah, like, you smelled it.
I always smell, when I get games from Japan, I always smell them. It's like a thing that I do. And people are like, why are you sniffing it? Shut up, don't judge. But it's pretty good condition for $3.
I wonder what the Water Momo foam smells like. Oh, I don't have foam. I got a little...
You got that.
Ah. I'm going to have to look for NOS Wonder Momo foam.
Oh, I've got Wonder Momo foam right there.
Oh, man.
No, let's see. Oh, this is my raffle one, too. It says raffle in it, so I'm
okay,
gonna raffle.
You smell every game that you open up?
Yes. If it comes from Japan, I smell it.
What about consoles when you open up the door?
Ooh, this one actually does not smell good. It smells bad.
Oh, dude, you're killing me.
Stinky momos.
So,
I actually, I haven't bought any consoles boxed from Japan, actually. So a lot of them comes from, like, eBay, and I get them from other sellers. Like, this PCFX came from a local shop called Retro City Games here in Vegas, and it didn't smell like anything, because I think the previous owner had it for a while now. But if you open a lot of Japanese games, they have that, like, ocean smell, almost like a mildew smell to it, because a lot of Japan is wet, so that gets trapped in the games. That's why I sniff my games like a weirdo.
You're in Las Vegas. How's the retro scene in Las Vegas?
It's not bad. Well, I don't really have much to compare it to other than California. So there are a few retro shops, like Retro City Games specializes in retro, and they're like my go-to shop for retro. And I actually picked a lot of imports from them, which is awesome. But other than that store, there are a few stores that carry imports. I'm all about imports.
yeah.
But yeah, it's all right. Like the scene's pretty big. The issue with that is that I find that I'm into a lot of obscure games. So I only have a handful of people here that I actually communicate and play games with, because I'm mostly into imports, so it makes it hard for me to sit down and play games with a lot of people.
I'm a retro gamer, and then they want to play Call of Duty. No!
And that happens so much.
Happens to me, too.
They're like, oh yeah, I love Mario, and blah, blah, blah. Let's play freaking Halo. And I'm like, great.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That happens.
I'm spoiled. Luckily, I have a few good friends, and we got a pretty good Facebook group that I help mod. That's, I'm covered with events. I have a monthly pinball league that I run. We have a retro gaming group, which a bunch of dudes collect obscure stuff and arcade consoles. We have a swap meet coming up this weekend, which is planned, and everybody's bringing stuff. And my favorite thing is, of course I forget it right when I say it, there's a thing called First Church of Nintendo, which sets up 3 times a week at bars about 8 consoles, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and 64, and you just go and grab a game and play there. So
wow.
I'm pretty spoiled right now.
Yeah, you guys both suck. That is amazing. The only thing, and this is a guy from central Wisconsin, we got nothing. There's a couple comic shops that I go to, or like a sort of like a GameStop knockoff type store that we have local here. There's like a chain of 3 of them, and they have some retro games, but their retro games are basically Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Genesis sports games, and that's it. Stacks of them. But man, I haven't seen a TurboGrafx game in the wild since I was but a wee boy, But we have game conventions. I run one of them here in central Wisconsin. That's in September of every year. I've had close to 200 people come each time, so that's really cool. I set up every game system I have and as many CRT monitors as I got. And last year we had 40 running. I want to do 50 this year. Different systems running all at the same time, and having tournaments and free play and all kinds of stuff open all day. And I run that at a bowling alley that has a ballroom. They let me use the ballroom for a whole day. That, and then the Midwest Classic in Milwaukee is pretty much.
Sounds like 3 great events. I heard Midwest Gaming is amazing.
Yeah, MGC is great. It keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Your pizza and games.
Pizza and games, yeah. The MGC is about 10,000 people now. And that's really fun. The biggest thing that we do, and this is, right now we're almost 2 months away. Wait, March, April. Yeah, we're like 2 months away from MGC. And the coolest thing that I run there is the Turbo Fest room, which is basically something we start on Friday, and it runs 24 hours a day all the way until Sunday. And the only time I've ever closed the doors and turned off the systems is when there's no one else in there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go take a nap. But usually that thing is where people are in there gaming until 3 or 4 in the morning, and then the doors are left open, or else we just close them and then open them again at like 6 or 7 in the morning.
How many turbos do you have set up?
Usually around 8.
So
Trying
awesome.
to get. It gets really hot in there though. It is we basically have a hotel room. All the beds and the dressers and everything are out, so it's emptied out. But we have tables along the edges of the room and all the way around the edge, and we have TVs going all the way around it. And it gets hot. It gets really hot really quick.
Is it
I
actually
bet.
part of the convention, or is it you guys actually rent a hotel room?
They let us use the room. A lot of the rooms on the first floor of the convention center have become part of the convention. I help with the museum part that they run at the MGC. So basically, gosh, it's like you might know some of these guys from PC Engine FX, but Beamer is a big part of it. Matthias, Jeff Lewis. I know there's other people. Bartray, he's on it, and a few others. Majors, Tony Majors, a couple other guys. They all come and help, and they run stuff in the museum, and I bring stuff too. But people have their specific groups or sections of the museum that they're in charge of, and every year they give me TurboFest, and TurboFest is not inside of the museum itself. It's like down the hall and in its own room, and I put a big sign up and everything, and just we run it on our own thing. And the coolest thing about it is that it's all our own rules. So like we can bring our own systems, we can bring our own games, we can switch them in and out whenever we want. Whereas as at the museum, it's very strict. Like the games are all behind these big locked boxes. The systems can't be turned on and turned off. You can't switch games out. It's basically something that we do from like 10 to 4. We have one specific game for each station, and then from like 4 to 8, we have another game, specific game. So like it's very strict inside of there, and the TurboFest is pretty willy-nilly. I actually am probably going to have to start a thread pretty soon about it, since it's only 2 months away, and ask people to bring some TVs, because I would really not want to have to bring all those TVs again. 2 years ago, I brought 22 CRT televisions. It was awful.
That's crazy.
It was
Are you
basically
preparing for
stacking
the
them.
Apocalypse?
Yeah, it was nuts. I don't know how. I've got 38 right now. TVs in my attic. It's ridiculous, but
I'm a hoarder of the PVMs as well,
nice. I have one. I have
I
one
have a-
PVM.
and I have a whole my garage has a few of them too.
That's awesome.
They're nice to game on. I have one PVM. I'm trying to get a second one right now, but I have a Sony. I don't even remember what kind, but it's cool. I have the PCFX hooked up to it right now. I like it.
S-Video over PCFX looks amazing.
Yes, it does, and that's actually how I have it connected. I love it.
S-Video on the Neo Geo CD is really, really pretty.
That's true. It is, and also native to the system.
Yep, we ran that at Pizza and Games last year in the free play area, and I had that running like Baseball Stars 2 and Magician Lord. We were switching between those two, and man,
Oh, nice.
it was like it looked so gorgeous.
Yeah.
It wasn't fair because I had like generic TVs on each side of it, and the Neo was in the middle, and I'm like, God, it looks so much better. It's like it looks better than the Dreamcast.
And all those older games too are great on the Neo Geo CD because you get that single loading time, and you
Yep.
just get this superb remixed soundtrack. And with some of them, I think the soundtrack is just so much better on the CD than it is on cartridge. Obviously, for technological reasons.
So
But-
there are arranged musics for this Neo Geo CD?
There
Yes.
are arranged music.
Some games do.
Don't tell me that. I'll have to go get one.
No, all games do. Like almost every game has like its arranged CD version
Oh,
of
jeez,
the
dude.
soundtrack. And then you have
I'm a
games-
fan for OSTs.
So do you guys know Voltage Fighter Gaukaiser?
Yes.
So
That's
Voltage-
Is that a Sunsoft fighter?
It's actually made by Technos, the people who made
Oh, yeah.
City Ransom and all that stuff. So that game's got an arranged soundtrack, and it's all vocals. So every character has an image song, and it's pretty awesome because I mean you're playing the game and you're hearing like this like music and everyone's like singing, and I don't know. For me, I get into it way more if I'm playing a fighting game and someone's like singing along in the background. I love it.
That's awesome.
Do any of you guys have the Unibios in your Neo Geo CDs?
No.
No.
Because I know The UniBIOS is like a custom BIOS which gives you a bunch of options. You can install it on the MVS, AES, and the Neo Geo CD. But what I was wondering, because on MVS carts, they actually store the MVS and the AES version of the game, so you can actually switch to the home version or vice versa. You can enable free play, you can enable cheats, all these things that aren't in the menus. Like unlocking blood on one of the Samurai Showdown, one of the later Samurai Showdowns or something. I was just wondering if the Neo Geo CD games, if they had the MVS and AES version on the Neo Geo CD. I'll have to look it up.
It's probably only going to have the AES version since it was intended for home use. But it would be interesting to.
Well, the AES.
I personally.
The AES carts have MVS version as well because it's in the ROM. So I'm wondering if like the Neo Geo CD is just the ROM and then a new interface intertwined with Redbook Audio, or I don't know. I'll find an answer and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I actually have no idea. I think the for the MVS, like on an arcade cabinet, you can set most of that with the dip switches.
Yeah, you can set most of that with the dip switches.
Yeah.
But you can't access the AES and MVS versions unless you have the UniBIOS.
Gotcha.
And it lets you change between the regions also. I think that would be useful for the Neo Geo CD since the consoles are Japanese. Everything's going to play in Japan region if you have Japanese console. So if you have a Japanese console and you wanted to play it in English for a game that doesn't have that option, I think a UniBIOS might be the way to go for that.
Yeah, you can choose the region on the UniBIOS. I'm not sure though if the CD. Again, I don't know if the CDs have all languages like the MVS and AES does. I'll have to check it out.
And I honestly didn't even know that you had that you could install a UniBIOS chip on the Neo Geo CD. Like, how would that even work? Does it use the same? So I know like the MB-1 or whatever boards have those chips that just pop out. So I don't know if you could just like take that chip and pop it in, or if it uses a similar board.
Look it up right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I know that the Neo Geo CD has a very small amount of memory on it that takes the place of a memory card from the AES. So you don't need memory cards for the CD either. Right. Which is kind of nice, because then you can just save games like Magician Lord, or you can save high scores and things like that from other fighting games. Yeah. There was also a Samurai Showdown RPG that was exclusive for the Neo Geo CD. Yes. That there were some people doing a fan translate for a couple years ago, but I think it's halted. I think. Yeah,
because it was like, are you guys familiar with the Neo Geo forums, like Deuce and some other people, and like they kind of just dropped off the face of the planet?
Was it Tonk? Was Tonk doing it? Collecting money from people?
It was Deuce and somebody else.
Oh, okay.
But Deuce was I think he also worked on East with Nightwolf. Also.
Oh, nice.
So that whole thing went down. He went to Exceed Games. He kind of disappeared. The Samurai Showdown.
Oh, shit. The Deuce? Like that Deuce? Like the one that Knight calls Deuce Bag?
Yes. That same Deuce.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I believe. And when he jumped off the scene, I think it kind of disappeared. I've been a long-time lurker of all these forums, but it wasn't really until recently that I started posting and being active. But I've been a lurker. I've had like 4 usernames on the Neo Geo forums. So no one ever really knew who I was ever because I was always changing usernames.
Yeah, now we do.
I can't handle the drama of the Neo Geo forums.
I can't either. Like, I joined in '99 the first time. My first user.
I think I have 4 posts there.
I think I just hit 100 posts on Neo Geo, but I've been a member for 10 years.
Oh wow! I read it. The Zelda Doll Trading Forum and
yeah.
I read up on the Neo Geo CD. It is just like the console install. There is one socketed version where you just change the socket ROM, and then the other ones is a really hard install where you have to desocket. Install a ROM socket and then put the ROM on that. But the same thing that I actually have one is called the Neos BIOS Master, which is something that upgrades Neo Geos that don't have socketed ROMs. It fits on top of this like square chip and allows you to socket a ROM, and it bypasses that. So the install might be advanced depending on which of the three consoles you have.
Gotcha.
But it's probably worth it because it looks like it has a lot of options.
I think it'd be worth it. Yeah, it's got like tons of options and cheats and stuff.
Yeah, it's unibios.free.fr. More information on the Unibios.
Sweet. I'll check that out right now.
That's pretty sweet.
It's a shame that Samurai Showdown RPG never got translated because there was a lot of content on it that I don't remember if I think the Neo Geo CD version had extra content on it that the other versions did not have. The PlayStation, the Sega Saturn version, like appearances by Iori Yagami and Kyo Kusanagi, and I think some other characters from King of Fighters, Athena and Mai, perhaps. And I don't believe the PlayStation version and the Saturn version had these extra characters in them.
Yeah, I don't think so. I knew that there were some exclusives for the Neo CD version that a lot of people really liked, and I know that's what a lot of the focus was for those guys that were doing some of the translated versions or the translations for that version specifically, because that one had more to it than any of the other ones, and it was for a system that people could really get dedicated to, the Neo CD or just Neo Geo in general.
Yeah, no, the artwork is just so damn cool. Like, you look at the cover, pretty neat. I actually have 2 closed copies. Back in the day, these games were dirt cheap. I don't know what they go for now, but I think I got these for like $5 a piece off the forums. So I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna grab them.
No, they're more expensive?
I don't know.
Damn it.
Yeah, I kind of dropped off the Neo Geo scene.
Yeah.
In like 2008.
It's gotten really expensive, so.
Yeah.
How much are Neo Geo CDs?
Nowadays?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I saw them in Japan for like $30-40, depending on the title. Some of them were as cheap as $5. It just really depends on what you're looking for. I think the rarest game for the Neo Geo runs at about anywhere between $250 and $300, and it's called Ironclad Brickinger, I think is what it's called. Brickinger Ironclad. And it's like the rarest CD. And that's a game that it's like a shmup, and it only came out for the Neo Geo CD. There was no AES version of it or MDS version.
Yep. Are you talking about how much is a Neo Geo system, or the CD system, or is it just games in general? Because games.
I was asking about the console, but I mean, I'd like to know about games.
Yeah, games are weird. Like, some of the most basic games you can find for dirt cheap, and I mean dirt cheap, just like common PC Engine prices between $5 to $15. I mean, that's pretty much what I got. I think Samurai Shodown 1, Fatal Fury Special, Fatal Fury 3, Art of Fighting, like just the games that are like, you know, they're basic games that are super fun to play. They're super cheap. King of Fighters 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, $10, $15 each. I mean, max. Yeah. Then there's games like Magician Lord, which for whatever reason has gone way up in price. I think it's like $55 to $65 now for that version. I wound up getting it, man, right when I first got the Neo CD, off the forums from a guy for $15. The forums meaning the NeoGeo.com forums. So that was a really, really good deal, and I guess it's gone up in price quite a bit lately. But yeah, I mean, it's honestly probably less expensive to collect for or own a decent library for than something like what the PC Engine is right now, or pretty much kind of on parallel for it. So it's nothing like the Neo Geo, or it's nothing like you know, some of the more expensive systems to be growing or attaining a library for. But I actually have a little bit of an interesting, a horror story about my Neo Geo. I don't know if I've ever told you this, Owl. But in, let's see, 2010, I started to get back into retro gaming and stuff. Long story short, I went through a really nasty divorce in 2008, and I wound up selling everything I had just to save up money and to move on with my life. And in about 2010, 2 years later, I started to get really sick of only emulating, and I was like, well, I'm going to start getting into stuff again. And I wound up finding a TurboGrafx 16 at the MGC for like $25, and then I wound up finding a Neo Geo CD from our good friend Beamer, and he had one, and he said he was fixing it up, and he wanted to just get rid of it. And he had a couple games with it. I can't recall what games they were because I never actually saw them. But he was like, "Hey, I'll send this to you. You know, just send me $50 to cover whatever." And I sent him $50, and he shipped it to me. And I just kind of never thought anything of it. I mean, shipping from, at the time he was living around Tennessee and to central Wisconsin, I'm like, I don't know how long it's going to take. But about 2 or 3 weeks later, I finally PM'd him back. And I said, hey, just curious when you're going to send that or what the tracking is on it. And he's like, that said it's been delivered a week and a half ago. And I'm like, oh, shit. I don't know what to do. So I was starting to freak out, and of course, it was delivered by FedEx. So Beamer put a couple things on there. One was my address, and I lived in an apartment building with like 16 other apartments, and it had to be a signature, a signed signature on delivery. And FedEx said it didn't say anything about confirmation of signature, and it didn't even say confirmation of delivery at that specific address. It just said delivered. The FedEx people had no idea about anything about it when I asked about it, and I went to every single one of my 15 neighbors in the apartment complex, and no one said they knew about it. I wound up calling the police. I filed a report about a missing box, questioning everybody in the apartment building, and then of course you got a couple people who are like, some older ladies are like, I think I saw a box sitting there for like 3 days, right outside someone's apartment building. It was, they told me, I was living on the 3rd floor, which was apartment 316. They said it was on the 2nd floor in front of a door that was 216, and the guy that lived in 216 was some punk kid in his early 20s, and apparently was in trouble for theft. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So I wound up never, ever getting it. And Beamer put in I think a missing claim or whatever to FedEx, and they still, as far as I know, they still never sent him a penny for it.
So he swiped the package?
Someone did. I mean, I have no idea what happened with it. And about 6 months later, he actually wound up running into another one. He said it was in rough shape. It looked like shit. It was all scuffed up. And he sent it to Chop to fix for him. And Chop, I don't know if you guys know Chop really well or not. He comes to MGC every year. Yeah. He's a big part of the show. Hey, did we get Blue Raven? Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Are you the download? Isn't that download the game for your icon?
Is it?
Is it a green-haired character? Is that from Xanadu?
Yeah, that would be Lycos from Xanadu Part 2.
Sorry.
Oh, owl. Rookie mistake. It's okay. Anyway, I was telling about the story about my stolen Neo Geo. So I don't know exactly what happened to it. I never got it. I never saw it again. And Beamer wound up finding another one like 6 months later and sent it to Chop to work on. And he fixed a couple pieces of it or whatever. And then we met up at MGC and he just gave it to me. So it was like so freaking lucky. I mean, how it all went down. I wound up picking up some games to come along with it. I wound up picking up an extra controller, and then I wound up waiting like a half a year later and finally wound up getting one. But the system that I got that was quote-unquote beat up or beat the shit out of actually looks really nice. It runs wonderfully. I've had like 1 or 2 hiccups where it, for whatever reason, escapes back to the main menu or like the opening screen. But that only happens once in a great while, and it only happens in a game that's really heavy on the loading. So a game like King of Fighters 98, where it's just like every round you got a minute and a half of loading, you'll be playing it, and I don't know, if I'm playing it for an hour and a half, it'll finally just be like, dude, I need a break, you know, or something. And it'll go back to the main screen.
That's a lot to ask from a 20-year-old CD-based console.
It's very true. That's very true.
The Sega Saturn did a great job actually doing that. But I mean, it came out later in its time, and it also had a 4 MB RAM cartridge that helped out with a lot of the loading. But I loved King of Fighters on the Saturn. It played so much better than it did on the Neo Geo CD.
That's very true. Yeah, the Saturn actually, one of the best things it did was emulating the Neo Geo. It was like almost the perfect conversion. They were arcade perfect games.
Josh, did you ever hear my my story about the PlayStation?
Oh boy, I don't think I have.
Okay, so I'm gonna. A few people have heard this story, but I used to call my PlayStation, or I call my PlayStation a piss station.
Oh God.
When I was in college, we had like small we had a common room in the middle, and then we had individual rooms on the side. And we used to have all of our consoles, which at the time was a PlayStation, a GameCube, and a GameCube, out into the common room with a big TV. And I had this POS roommate. He was like a drug addict. He was like selling stuff. He would steal my stuff. Like smelled. It just didn't work. And unfortunately, we had to share the room. So he comes in all drunk one night, and like you hear him making a mess out in the common room, and like he like falls into the door to open up the bedroom door, and he's just like barely speaking. And then he goes out, and it sounds like he's like, taking a piss with the door open, the bathroom door open. And I'm like, oh, that's common for him. This dude's a slob. But there's like a splatter sound that's happening, and I'm like, he's definitely not in the bathroom. So of course he's opened the lid to my original PlayStation. He's peeing into it, and he looks. I'm like, "What the heck are you doing?" And he's like, "What is it?" He doesn't even like respond.
Oh my God!
I slammed the door and didn't want to deal with it. Luckily, I had like an OCD roommate that cleaned everything, like mopped and all of that stuff. I was just gonna let it be, whatever. It's gone. It's fine with me. But that PlayStation, up until 2 weeks ago, still worked.
Wow.
And I still it was modded. The reason why I kept it around and I just didn't toss it, it was modded, and I had like a spindle full of PlayStation CDR games. I just recently got a PS2 debugging station that plays backups. But the laser was on its. I had to get it to work. I had to put the PlayStation on its side, and that gets you a little more life out of CD-based systems for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the story of my piss station.
Wow. I can't even, bro.
Just imagine that. It's disgusting.
So could you smell it every time you powered it on?
Oh yeah, you would hate it because you smell everything. No, I actually ended up taking it apart and cleaning the inside and everything, but I'm sure it still wouldn't have passed your smell test.
All right, hey, Blue Raven, you just joined the chat. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to introduce you, but
no worries.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Just finally getting a little organization stuff going on here with putting all the laser discs and records into sleeves and boxes and getting them stored. That's been my recent project, and I'm waiting on some RGB chips right now for a PCE Duo. So I'm getting really excited about doing a little bit of mod work. So
sounds like bliss, man. Are Laserdisc movies or games?
Well, actually, ironically, more records than Laserdiscs. I only have 5 Laserdiscs. But I'm going to be getting into the laser active market here pretty soon if all things go well, and was thinking about busting out Army of Darkness and trying that out for the first time around.
The red, did you get the red one?
I don't know. It was just it was like a $4 Laserdisc, and the cover was perfect, and the disc wasn't scratched, and it looked awesome, so I grabbed it.
Have you seen there's a blood red version of that one?
Is it just blood red on the cover?
No, the disc itself is blood red.
No way.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Cool.
That is amazing.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Me?
Yeah,
I listen to a lot of blues, a lot of R&B, jazz, a lot of funk music from the '70s, hip hop. I'm kind of pretty eclectic with everything, but I definitely love the LP medium.
I used that I get into stuff and I get in and out of it. When I get into something, I get into it hard. So I have about 4 shelves of records that I don't really listen to anymore, which is
awesome.
It's a shame. And I have a really nice Rekka turntable, and then I forgot who makes the preamp, but it's a really nice sounding system. But
Cool.
I just find myself with streaming services. I just find myself streaming audio.
You know, that's kind of where I've been at too, and I actually just unloaded about 200 LPs in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So, you know, just doubles and triples of stuff, and anything that wasn't perfect or I wasn't listening to at least, you know, once a month on, you know, some other medium, I pretty much got rid of it just because, you know, space.
Yeah, I've had one purge before, but I could honestly do another one. So if there's anything you're looking for, let me know.
I will. Thank you, man. Thank you.
You know, I really this podcast could really use a jingle, Blue.
Ha! I can see what I can come up with. There's definitely some. You want it to be metal, or do you want it to be like old chip tunes?
I'm thinking something like very romantic or sensual. You know, think of humping and game humping and.
I can't say it.
I'll come up with something.
Awesome.
Do some Italian disco.
Yes.
Get a little bit of that.
Funk you up.
All right, so we are getting close to the end of our time together on this very romantic and sexual episode of The Hump. We've taken a trip to Japan with Sarumaru. We've talked a lot of imports. We even somehow magically talked positively about the Neo Geo CD today. I'm actually really stoked about that.
I kind of want to get one.
You know, it's weird. I think it was oh shoot, I can't think of his name. He's one of the members of the PC Engine FX forums. He's kind of a smart aleck, but he's actually a really good. Oh, Sign of Zeta.
Okay.
Sign of Zeta has a good quote for the Neo Geo CD. He always says it's the system that everybody wants to get until they have it.
It's kind of the same thing with the PCFX.
That's true.
Yeah, I speak from experience. You're right on that one, Saru.
Yeah. Didn't I buy? Who did I buy? No, that was Element X, whatever his name is.
Exelemente.
Yeah, I bought my first PCFX controller from him.
Oh, awesome.
And, yeah, I mean, I like the PCFX. It's cool. I think it doesn't get enough credit.
No. It's fun. I got my unit from Necromancer when he bought all that big lot and was putting them back up on the forums. And I have to say, great eye candy, really awesome shooters, really awesome games. Was blown away at the amount of hentai games that existed for that.
Didn't my way.
I literally went looking for games, and 3/4 of them were, and I was like, wow, okay, I gotta find some shooters. But anyway,
it's got one shooter.
Are there hentai shooters though?
That was the next question. No, there's one
Sadly,
shooter.
no.
No, just one shooter. And but I have to say, Battle Heat's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
Zanky
like
alone
those-
makes the system worth owning and put on shelf space for me.
I don't own Zenki, so
Burn it.
it makes me sad. I want a copy, but it's like $300.
Yeah.
Though.
Have you played it?
I have,
Okay.
and it's amazing.
Yeah, there's always a few people who are like, oh, it's overrated, and it's like, dude, compared to the rest of the PCFX like library, it's the Super Mario 3 of the system.
It's an excellent game. Just not even counting the fact that it's the only action game on the PCFX, just as an action game in general.
Yep.
I think it's a great game. It's a 2D game. It's awesome.
Yeah, man, when I get mine again soon, I'm planning on looking for Last Imperial Prince. That was a really lot of fun. Sparkling Feather is awesome. It is a strategy, like tactics type role-playing game where the battles are like really huge, kind of like Vandal Hearts or Final Fantasy Tactics-ish almost. Right. But in the menu, if you can figure it out, there's actually an auto battle feature. So you can watch the anime cutscenes, which are like 5-10 minutes long each. Then you can hit auto and then watch the battle happens. And for whatever reason, you always win. And it's actually like the strategy that the computer does for you is like perfect. So it gives you a good. And you can watch all the menu selections and everything, and you're like, now I know what that does. Now I know what that does. You watch a few of those, and then you can kind of start over and like play it yourself and figure it out. It's kind of got its own little tutorial. But no, I'm definitely planning on picking up those again. That's a lot of fun. That and Power League FX. If you know how to play baseball games, you know how to play that one. That's a really good one too for the PCFX.
That's
A game I wanted to talk about actually for Blue. Are you familiar with the Tengai Makyo series?
a little bit, yeah.
If you liked Battle Heat, Tengai Makyo had a game that was very similar to
Oh
Battle
wow.
Heat. Yeah, and it plays pretty much just like Battle Heat, but with like all the Tengai Makyo characters.
Yep.
That's
And it's a lot of fun if you're into those types of games.
No, I
And it's
really-
usually like $50.
I really liked Far East of Eden, both of them for the PC Engine, and I also have the Fighter, the arcade card Fighter. And
Yes.
that thing is so much fun to play. I really have
Yes.
one of the better arcade games in my opinion, arcade card games for the PCFX
I agree.
engine. I mean, yeah.
Excellent
One thing-
animation, great music.
Cool. Thank you for the tip. I will definitely check that one out. I definitely will. One thing, Josh, I think we need to really mention about the
There it is.
PCFX before we close out is there's this new dev program that just got released where people can actually now go in and do their own programming for the PCFX, and they some
Nice.
posted about it on PCEngineFX.com. And my hope is that some people kind of like grab hold of that and start creating some new games, because I know that there's been a lot of homebrew for the PC Engine, but man, wouldn't it be great if there was like maybe a homebrew shooter for the PCFX?
I would be all
Right.
over it.
Is the software in English or Japanese?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. That
What I would love to see is like how someone developed the Super Hue card, right? For the Super CD, you can boot a whole bunch of PC Engine Hue cards off of a CD-ROM. Someone
Wow.
created a Super Hue card. I don't know if you've heard about that. Have you guys heard about that one? Or?
Yeah, talk about it.
Well, okay. I don't have one. I've never seen it, but Jody, our friend Jody, what's Brap is his forum handle.
Oh, yes.
He makes some reproductions. He's got like the Turbo Reproductions Facebook page,
Right.
and he also is on the Turbob Express Facebook pages. He's big on like was it Space Fantasy Zone and a few other games that are like really hard to find. He makes really high quality like CDRs and just pretty much shares them with everybody. He also makes he translates instruction manuals and other things like that too. He's awesome. Jody Weetham or Weetham. I'm not even sure.
I think it's Wheatum.
Yeah, great guy. Anyway, one of the things he's found recently, and he kind of pointed me in the direction of, but it's been around for a while, is the Super Hue card. And it's basically like somebody took 100 PC Engine games and they had it, kind of like the way that the Gate of Thunder, like 4-in-1, how there's like Bonk, Bonk's Revenge, and Bomberman. They figured out the code that is used to direct the CD-ROM to those Hue card games and just got rid of the actual CD game, Gate of Thunder, and just loaded the rest of the memory up with other Hue card games, since most of those games are like a half a meg or a meg
Wow.
total in computer space. So there's like a ton of them, and a lot of them don't work properly because it's never even really been like in alpha phase or beta phase or anything like that.
Because where would the RAM space for those games come from?
The RAM on a Turbo Duo or a TurboGrafx CD system that has the Super CD-ROM Hue card slot or that card in there should have enough RAM in it to be able to load up an entire game into the RAM. So
Right.
that's the idea of how it works. So that's why a lot of games haven't been fully tested and don't function properly. Some games crash in the middle, whatever. Like Magical Chase, I don't think works. It's just too big of a game. Or Bonk 3 is an 8 meg game. That's no way that's going to work. But or Street Fighter 2, that doesn't work. But a lot of smaller games like Wonder Momo or Crater Maze, like all these other small games that were just like
4 meg and under games.
yeah, exactly. They work really well, and you just basically burn it to a CD-ROM and you can play it a whole bunch of games right off of the CD on your Turbo Duo or whatever.
Wow.
Anyway, Jody is making he started making really good glass mastered, I shouldn't say glass mastered, but really high quality CDRs, and he made an instruction manual and a back cover case for it, so it's like Super CD or Super Hue card, and he's got the whole thing. And
Yeah, this is one of Jody's
yes,
things, and it's pretty good. Like, he prints the stuff like pretty legit. It's not
yeah, he
bad.
tries to use the source materials. He tries to use like the Japanese manuals and translate it and stuff. And I thought it was really interesting too when Tobias came out with his like super god tier Dracula X reproduction. His reproduction actually was very similar to Jody's instruction manual. Like a lot of the translations were almost identical.
Yeah.
There's also this.
Yeah. There's
Jody,
Mega Man.
I have to say, absolutely amazing artwork and amazing like translation of the Nintendo game with killer music.
Yep.
Awesome job, Jody. Thank you so much.
Cool. What's that disc look like? Show us the disc.
The actual disc? Sure.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Crap.
Oh no!
I broke it. That's the actual.
Oh, wow.
So he really did spend a lot of time on this and make it look.
I see. It's like a printed CDR.
Yeah.
Nice.
All good stuff.
Actually, the one Tobias made was also that same. Like he didn't press it. He also did the same thing. He printed on them.
Yeah, but Tobias took the.
I have his copy. Let me go grab it. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I won't say anything. Tobias took the Bonk Nuts version of it and sold it without permission. But he took the one without CD audio. He took the one with the actual NES music.
So Jody's different?
Yeah, Jody's is the newer version.
So I'm not a collector, okay? This is something that I lost in a box for like about 2 or 3 years, and then by the time I actually got Jody's copy, I was playing Jody's copy. So, but this is the actual Tobias product that he put out so many years ago, and you know I have to say the packaging is nice, but this was completely just taken from Bonk Nuts, and it has all the original music and no credit was given, and that's why everybody's so pissed off about that. But it also came in this like little cardboard thing that says PC Engine, and I think that there's like a little manual in here too. Yeah, there's like this like PC Engine thing that tells you to buy like his version of Sapphire and Space Fantasy Zone as well. So anyway,
which is weird because that in itself has become a rare item. His Sapphire boot.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
People are paying up in the hundreds for, and I'm like, it's not real, people.
It's not real.
Stop spending that kind of money.
Yeah, it's.
I actually saw someone trying to push that boot at Portland Retro Gaming Expo. This dude had one of Tobias's Sapphire boots, and I walked up to his booth and I picked it up, and it's pretty clear that it's not the real thing. Like the colors are all off, and the arcade card logo is like super bright neon orange. And I'm just sitting there like chuckling at the CD, and he's like, "Oh, I bet you've never seen one of those before." And I'm like, "A fake copy of Sapphire? No, this is the first one I've seen." And he's like, "Oh, it's not fake, it's real." He was trying to sell it for $700.
Holy shit! Was it disc only, or did it have the case and manual?
No, it had the whole case and manual. But if you remember, many years ago they had that whole like debunking the PC Engine fake Sapphire thing on one of
SuperPCEngine.com.
Yeah, that one, and it's got like that whole guide where it shows you how fake the original ones look. But I think actually he improved that later on. I don't know. People are saying that it's almost.
Yeah, there's a couple spots because like I think the most telling part is if you flip the disc over and you look at the back of it. And around the center, there's like letters inside of it, and the legit ones start with like PCE something something something, and all the fake ones, they're just whatever the pressing company gave them. So it was usually like MX for like Maxwell or whatever, you know, like.
In that case, I think it was a company called Care for Data.
Yes.
What is this one?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
This one has the Don't eBay. Is that like a later aftermarket?
No. The no eBay. Isn't that Sparky's thing?
That's the fuck eBay club. How did you get one of those?
I know people.
I still have my fuck eBay card somewhere around here. I could probably dig it up.
Mine's in my wallet, I think. I took a picture of it just because I found it recently.
This is a boot of a boot.
A boot of a boot of a boot. Oh, yes.
Nice. Yeah, Sparky made like those inserts, the back insert and then the manual insert, and then Beamer had the spools full of the Sapphire discs. And and he was pretty much just giving them away on the forums. Very similar to what the Turbob Express guys have been doing, which I'm a part of, where we've been getting like or just extra spools of discs from Tobias. And just distributing them to the rest of the groups. Speaking of that, if you guys are coming to MGC, I do have a couple discs of the Dracula X repro he did.
Sorry.
Yeah, there it is. Fuck eBay Club. Nice.
Nice. I like the Ripple Magical Chase girl.
Yeah, she's hanging out telling everybody she's pissed that she's selling for so much money right now. Anyway, fun stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, but yeah, there's a few discs that we've gotten. We've gotten Beyond Shadowgate out there, Might and Magic 3, Godzilla, some of the ones that are really hard to find. But I've been just shipping them out to people for if they want to cover the cost of shipping. But there's actually been some people who have not paid for them, and I've sent them to them anyway, just because they were like, hey, can I, whatever, can I just get a copy of it? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
That's awfully nice of you.
Josh, I actually did a stream. I do Twitch streaming. I did a stream of all of those 4 games that you sent me.
Oh, awesome.
It's on YouTube, too, if you just search PC Engine Showcase or PC Engine Bonk.
Hell yeah.
Under my anonymous name. But yeah, I played all of them. Godzilla was extremely hard.
Yes, it is.
Bonk 3 was beautiful, and the CD audio was great, but I kept on getting lost.
Yeah.
What else did you send me? Dracula I've already played. Amazing.
Right.
There was 2 other games, wasn't there?
Dungeon Explorer 2?
Yeah, that game was awesome.
I love that game. It is so amazing.
It was like, I played it 1 player, and I thought, man, this would be awesome, because it supports up to 5 people, right?
Yeah.
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 And Dynastic Hero was freaking sick.
Dynastic Hero is really good.
And yeah, Dungeon Explorer 2. So good. Thank you again.
Yeah, we're going to keep getting more and more. I think that when Tobias does his next stuff, we're going to keep getting more, so we'll keep giving them out to everybody, just so everybody can have them and not have to spend $50 a game from Toby or have to sit here and try to find these games.
Tobias, you're saying Tobias and Toby. That's not the same person.
It is the same person.
Okay, it is the same person.
Sorry.
So he sells them for a high price with the full packaging, but he's still willing to do this.
Well, it's interesting because I guess the point of him giving away the discs is because they just sit and collect dust. And for him to press 500 of them is a lot less expensive than 100. And if the market for his reproductions are, between 100 and 150, he's going to go ahead and press as many as he possibly can in case, 5 years down the road, he's going to be able to find some more interest in it or resell some more. So rather than getting a game pressed one time and then 3 months later getting it pressed again, or a year later getting it pressed again or whatever, he presses like 1,000 of them. And he's been sending us like 100 to 200 of each game just because he's like, I'll never use these. And the Sapphire one was a perfect example of that because he had them sitting around forever and ever and ever from like the late 90s until like 2010 or whatever it was.
Sure.
When he finally unloaded them to Beamer. But
that's pretty awesome.
Was it really 5 years ago that the Sapphire redistribution happened?
I think so.
My God.
I really do. I really think so. I want to say that was like 2010.
Wow, where did the time go?
I know, right?
Well, I did actually. I will be raffling a Sapphire here pretty soon. I know because there was 2 different versions of the bootleg that was released. There was the correctly printed version and then the off-printed version.
Yeah, like a paint job error or something.
Yeah, it was definitely. But I've got one of the off-painted ones that I'm gonna probably here put up for a raffle.
How many
That would be a nice raffle.
Rafflemania.
Yeah.
I always think 200 is like the good safe number for anyone who's even semi-active in the forums.
All right.
When it comes to raffles.
This is the best raffle I've ever won. You guys, I did an opening video too for you guys.
Nice.
That's awesome.
For the PCFX group.
That's awesome. Was it like Null's? What did he have? That one guy. do a video for
Ron
Jeremy. Yeah.
That's probably the most significant thing I think that's happened to PCFX in a really long time. I mean, you got like the world's most famous porno star to play harmonica and say, "Obey the PC Engine." I mean, I was like, how come there isn't like 3,000 responses to this post? I mean, this is like, anyway.
I love it. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Cool.
All right. So in closing, we've been talking a lot about imports. What are some current games that you guys are playing in the import scene right now?
So I just recently got the Twin Bee Deluxe pack for the Sega Saturn.
Nice.
I'm playing. Pretty awesome game. You can get it for fairly cheap. It's like $20 on eBay. That's pretty awesome. But other than that, I'm playing a lot of PC Engine because I'm actually going to start doing reviews on my channel. I'm doing a lot of game capturing right now. I'm in the capturing a lot of video phase, and eventually I'm going to start actually doing video for them.
Awesome. I love it.
What about
How about
you,
you, Owl?
I'm obsessed with PlayStation right now because of my PlayStation debugging unit. I'm playing Twinkle Star Sprites Le Petite Princess.
Nice.
It's like a 3D version of Twinkle Star Sprites. I just started Gregory Horror Show.
Nice.
Which is kind of amazing. And I've been playing some Mr. Mosquito as well.
On the piss station?
No, on the PIS station is getting its laser recalibrated and cleaned.
Is that even worth it? Because can't you get like a PlayStation for like a nickel now?
I gotta keep the PIS station around, man.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. No, I have the PS2 Slim. Let me unplug it. I'm playing a lot of Samurai Pizza Cats too, which was just got a translation for the Famicom.
That is awesome.
It's a cool game.
See, a little tiny PS2 debugging unit I got for $80, and it plays burns of PS1s and PS2.
Wow.
Nice.
I love it. RGB out. It's gorgeous.
That is very cool.
Nice.
Balloon Raven, what you playing on the?
This is not an import, but I just finished Mysterious Song.
Woo!
Great RPG. You can play 2 versions of it. Aren't you in it?
I am. The voice acting is amazing in that game, isn't it?
Yeah, you're Tiger. I couldn't believe it, man. I was at the end of playing it. I was like, and then the credits rolled, and I just busted out laughing because I knew everybody in the credits. So, and then I was like, oh, it's Josh. He's Tiger. Anyway, so great game and great job with the voice acting on that. And I'm
Yay.
And a translation?
Yeah. Well, it's the second version of it. But I think you did it on both. But good stuff though. And then this, of course, Terraforming has been like what I've been playing. This is the PC Engine version because I'm not going to spend like $750 on this game. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. And I used to have it.
Oh,
Terraforming
cool.
used to be so cheap. It was the dirt cheap game. Back when the turbo was dying, you can get Terraforming for like $7. And I kicked myself in the ass for not picking it up.
Yeah, I had it. I got it from TZD for $39, and
yeah. Oh man, TZD.
Turbo Zone Direct. 1-800-DUO-THIS.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot I've been playing a lot of Umahari Kawase puzzle games for the Super Famicom, and I just got this
that's a cool game.
which is it's amazing. The Super Game Boy 2 is a lot better than the Super Game Boy 1. It has actually the Game Boy CPU in it, so it runs at the correct clock speed.
Nice.
Very cool.
I heard they're rebooting that game, the Umihara Kawase.
Are they? Well, because
I think so.
For a little while, you could buy the trilogy of the PlayStation games, but it just got taken down like 2 weeks ago. So I was wondering what was up with the license.
No, it's weird. Yeah, I think it's getting rebooted for
Awesome.
PS4 or something, or Vita maybe.
Let's do it.
Cool.
The most recent game I've been playing, as far as imports go, is a game called Noel for the Saturn.
Oh wow.
It's very, very difficult. It's extremely thick in Japanese.
Yes.
And I wanted to see some good cutscenes, and it looked like a good adventure game. But it's, I think it's like a CD-ROM romantic comic, virtual, or not a virtual, but like a a digital comic type game. And I haven't really gotten anywhere, not too far yet, but the music's really good. The pack that it comes in for the Saturn's like got 3 CDs in it, a ton of manuals inside of it. It looked like there's a lot to it, very involved game. But again, with very little knowledge of the Japanese language, I'm struggling with it. That and Mario and Wario for the Super Famicom is awesome. Playing that one.
Which what was your last game?
Mario and Wario for the Super Famicom.
I haven't played that.
It's a mouse game.
Sweet.
It's really, really good. It's really cheap. I got it from Windy Games at the Midwest Classic last year for like $5. It's actually incredible. It's a mix of like Lemmings and those Mario versus Donkey Kong games on the DS or whatever. Those type of games where you're basically clicking around and you're Mario is a character on the screen and Wario throws a bucket over his head and he can't see where he's going. So you have to move all the obstacles out of his way to get Mario from point A to point B. And that's the whole game. And it's incredibly good.
I've heard of that game before.
It's incredibly good. Like it's very fun.
Like
Cool.
Lemmings. Almost.
I hate Lemmings though.
Well,
You have to play the engine version.
You know what the worst game like
I
that
like
is?
the PC Engine version. It's good.
Where you have to manage like a dumb person on screen is Eek the Cat for the Super Nintendo.
That's one of those games?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to push around somebody the entire stage and like help them avoid obstacles. It's absolutely
That reminds me of Pac-Man 2. That
Yeah.
one is awful. I really don't like that game.
Pac-Man 2.
Yeah,
either.
Pac-Man 2, Pac in
Yeah,
Time.
it's very similar.
Oh, I've never played that.
It's not very good. I think it's the same type of game.
Yeah, you're lucky. Don't play it.
Yeah.
One import that I've been kind of like really getting into for the Super Famicom is The Violinist of Hamelin, and I was recommended it by Mad Gear last year, and he showed me like this just an SFC card, and I ended up getting a copy from Hit Japan when we got the Secret Santa stuff, and I have to say, you do have to push around. It's like probably one of the most misogynistic games on the planet because you like literally push this woman around and then you jump on her and you like turn her into all this stuff. But anyway, cool game, and but the gameplay is actually pretty fantastic as far as like a side scroller action platformer. I was really blown away with just about everything on it, and I keep putting hours into it, and it doesn't get boring. So. Good stuff.
The game looks cool.
It looks good. Yeah, it looks really cool. Like the graphics are really nice sprite work.
Yeah, it's tight. It's really
Is
tight.
that an Enix game? I can't remember.
I can go dig it up if you want.
No, it's not that important. I can't remember. I just was trying to remember if it was Enix or if it was.
Not sure.
Okay, that's cool. All right, we are way past an hour long, but that's awesome. See, that's how easy it is when you get a bunch of guys
It doesn't
on.
even seem like it, actually.
I know, it's crazy, and man, when I try to wake up next morning, I'm going to be paying for it, but that's totally cool. That's what it's all about, being able to just hang out and talk and have a good time. I saw for a little while we had 8 viewers at one time, so that's kind of cool. A lot of people listening to us just sit and talk about old import games and stuff like that. But I am so glad that you guys were able to be a part of the show. Saramaru, Owly, and Blue Raven, thank you guys so much for being a part of the week, the Game Hump. And I look forward to chatting with you guys again.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having
having me.
Thanks. Take it easy, guys. Good night.